Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. There comes a moment in every life when the silence gets too loud, when the world stops clapping, when the mirror asks you a question no one else dares to. And in that moment, you either break or you rise. Not because it's easy, not because someone gave you permission, but because your spirit remembers what your fear forgot. You are not here to bend under pressure. You are here to build power under pressure. Steel is forged in fire, not shade. And you were never meant to be ordinary metal. You were born molten, molded by adversity, shaped by resistance, and destined to rise. If you refuse to break, you think Thomas Edison didn't want to give up after 1,000 failures? You think he didn't hear the voice that whispered, "It's never going to work"? Of course he did, but he answered that voice not with surrender, but with stubborn belief, because belief is louder than doubt when it's backed by decision. You think Lincoln didn't want to quit? Born into poverty, defeated in elections, mocked, rejected. But he didn't fold. He stood taller each time, not because he was unshakable, but because he chose to shake and still keep walking. That's the difference. Champions tremble, but they never fall apart. You want to rise? You want to live beyond survival? Then burn this truth into your bloodstream. Pain is not the enemy. Quitting is. Every setback is a test, and not of your intelligence, not of your talent, but of your threshold. How much can you take before you break? And if you don't break, what becomes possible? You've been lied to. They told you strength is absence of struggle. They were wrong. Strength is struggle refined. Diamond is carbon that refused to remain common. And you are still becoming. But here's what matters. You don't need everything right now. You don't need all the answers. You don't need applause or clarity or a clear path paved with gold. What you need is one decision. A decision that says, I will rise. No matter what breaks around me, I will not break within me. You think greatness is about luck? No. Greatness is discipline in disguise. Every day you rise when it's easier to sleep. Every time you show up when no one's watching. Every choice you make that no one sees, but changes everything. This is the mindset of warriors. This is the silence behind the storm. This is the inner engine of success that no one can give you and no one can take away. You will rise, not because it's written in the stars, but because you carved it into your soul. That's the real law of attraction. Not dreaming, deciding, and then doing again and again and again. There's a reason most people never rise. Because rising means leaving comfort. It means facing yourself. It means losing people who love the weaker version of you. It means long nights, empty bank accounts, doubting eyes, and silent rooms. But if you endure that, if you hold the vision, if you stay unshakable in the face of it all, you enter rare air. You breathe where few can survive. And what you build from that place, it lasts. It inspires. It outlives you. Walt Disney, he was told he lacked imagination, laughed out of studios, fired from a newspaper job. Now his name is a kingdom. Oprah, told she didn't have the right look for TV. Now her voice moves nations. They didn't rise because they were special. They rose because they refused to be broken by what tried to break them. And now it's your turn. This isn't a fairy tale. This is war. A war against doubt, laziness, distraction, and fear. A war against average. And you win that war not with noise, but with resolve. Resolve is quiet. It wakes up early. It practices when others rest. It keeps promises when no one is watching. Resolve is what separates those who dream from those who rise. You don't need more time. You need tighter focus. You don't need more motivation. You need non-negotiable habits. You don't need validation. You need a vision so powerful that it scares your old self into extinction. Burn the fallback plan. Delete the backup option. Evict the voice that says, maybe later. There is no later. There is only now, and what you choose to become inside it. Will you break or will you rise? Because every excuse you keep becomes a chain, and every disciplined act you take becomes a ladder. Climb. Climb until you feel your lungs screaming. Climb until the old version of you can't follow. Climb until regret starves and legacy feasts. And here's what they won't teach you in schools or sell you in books. Belief is not given. Belief is built. Brick by brick, thought by thought, habit by habit. You don't wake up one day with belief, you earn it. Not from the world, from yourself. You earn belief by keeping promises to your own soul, by showing up when everything in you says stop, by facing the wall and refusing to turn back, by planting seeds no one else can see, and watering them when the soil is dry, the sun is gone, and no one claps. That is belief, not a feeling, not a spark, but a flame you protect when the wind tries to blow it out. A discipline of the mind that says, I don't care what the facts say, I will create new facts. Because belief is not about probability. It's about responsibility. The responsibility to become what you said you would be. The sacred duty to carry the torch when others drop it. You are not a statistic. You are a decision that hasn't been fully made yet, but when it is, watch what happens. The moment you decide fully, not halfway, not conditionally, but fully, doors open. Not because the world changed, but because you did. The fog clears. People notice. Energy shifts. Opportunities that once ignored you now orbit your gravity. Why? Because clarity is a magnet. It's not enough to want more. You have to define it. Define the version of you that rises. What time do they wake up? What does their morning feel like? What do they prioritize? Who do they surround themselves with? What do they ignore? What do they refuse to tolerate? Write it down. Speak it daily. Burn your old self in the fire of your future vision. Because if you don't define who you will become, you'll always default to who you've always been. Clarity is your sword. Use it. Cut through distraction. Silence the noise. You don't need 10 things, you need one. A vision so strong it survives chaos. And now comes the hard part. The part no one applauds. The part most quit before the blessing arrives. Daily discipline. Discipline is where dreams are made or murdered. Discipline is where success is sharpened like a blade honed on repetition. Want to rise? Then marry discipline. Fall in love with routine. Structure your chaos. Don't just wish schedule your transformation, because here's the truth. You don't rise from what you say. You rise from what you do, what you repeat, what you execute without fail, even when tired, even when uninspired, even when your emotions tell you to stop. Do it anyway. And here's where most people fall apart. They wait to feel like it. They think greatness is about emotion, but emotion is fleeting. Discipline is eternal. Michael Jordan practiced longer than his teammates, not because he felt like it every time, but because he understood this law. Repetition rewires identity. Want to be a champion? Then act like one before the world sees it. Behave like it. Think like it. Train like it. even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. The gym, the journal, the 4 a.m. wake-up, the cold shower, the hard conversation, the lonely hustle, the quiet sacrifices. This is where warriors are made. This is the furnace of transformation. You think a warrior sharpens their blade in battle? No, they sharpen it in solitude. And when the time comes, you will be ready, because you chose the pain of growth over the pain of regret. And one of those two is coming either way. Choose wisely. And while you're choosing, understand this: the world will not hand you the throne. You must earn it with scars. Every rejection you face is sharpening you. Every betrayal is sculpting character. Every failure is teaching strategy. This is not punishment. This is preparation. Because what's waiting for you at the top requires muscles forged in fire. And you can't fake those. But in the dark hours, when it's just you and your doubts, you must speak life. Your words are spells. Speak only what you want to create. Say it. I will rise. Say it again. I will not break. Repeat it until your subconscious bends around the truth, until every part of you becomes that declaration. Because the world bends to those who bend reality with belief. And belief without action is a fantasy. But belief fused with relentless action, that is destiny in motion. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. You don't have to know it all. You just have to decide and begin. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be willing. Willing to stretch. Willing to fail. Willing to keep going. Because the world may knock you down 1,000 times, but if you get up 1,001, you win. They won't understand it. They'll call it obsession, arrogance, even delusion. But they don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. And they don't get a vote in your future. Let them talk. You've got work to do. You've got mountains to climb. You've got battles to win. You've got a legacy to build. Life does not reward the most intelligent. It rewards the most adaptable. Because no plan survives the storm. No vision escapes adversity untouched. And no dream comes to life in its original form. You will be tested. Your plans will collapse. Your expectations will shatter. And that's not failure. That's evolution. Adapt. Adjust. Advance. Because the most dangerous person alive is the one who can take a hit and keep thinking clearly. The one who doesn't panic when the winds change. The one who says, I will not fold. I will pivot. Think of Henry Ford, laughed at by automakers, mocked for trying to bring cars to the common man. He failed again and again. Factories burned. Money ran out. But he adapted. And when the smoke cleared, he built an empire that moved the world. That's what adaptability does. It turns breakdowns into breakthroughs. It takes the shattered pieces of your past and rearranges them into power. You must become like water, flexible but unbreakable, calm but relentless, able to flow or crash. And when you embrace that flow, when you stop resisting change and start commanding it, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not just chasing success, you're becoming the kind of person who attracts it. A person forged by struggle, refined by discipline, anchored in purpose, and moved by resilience. And don't mistake resilience for toughness. Toughness is brittle. Resilience is elastic. Tough things break. Resilient things bounce back stronger, more focused, more committed. So let the pressure come. Let the setback stack. Let the chaos swirl. Because if you bend, but you never break, you will rise higher than anyone expected. And while you rise, never forget what fuels the ascent. Gratitude, not the surface level kind, not the thank you said out of habit, but soul level gratitude, the kind that sees value in the pain, the kind that whispers, thank you for the struggle because it showed me who I am. You must be grateful for the climb, grateful for the lessons, grateful even for the silence, because in silence you found your voice. When you stop seeing obstacles as punishments and start seeing them as preparation, you become untouchable, because now you're no longer waiting for the world to give you something. You're building it from within. And that's the final transformation. You stop chasing identity and you start embodying it. You stop asking, can I be great? And start declaring, I'm becoming greatness. You stop begging life for a blessing and start becoming the person who commands one. You will rise, not because life makes it easy, but because you made a vow to yourself that no matter what storms come, you will not surrender your soul. You will keep the fire lit. You will protect your purpose. You will sharpen your sword. You will walk through hell with your head high, if that's what it takes. Because the person on the other side of all this, the one waiting behind the pain, behind the sacrifice, behind the relentless days and sleepless nights, that person is the real you, the one this world needs, the one your younger self dreamed of, the one your future self is depending on. Let that vision be your North Star. Let that vision wake you. When comfort says sleep, let that vision pull you. When fear says stop, let that vision build you. When life tries to break you, you are not broken. You are becoming. You are not stuck. You are shifting. You are not lost. You are remembering who you are. So rise. Not someday, not maybe. Now, rise, even if your legs shake. Rise, even if your heart aches. Rise, even if no one believes yet, because belief begins with you. The world mirrors your standard. Set it high. Build it strong. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. You will rise, not because you're lucky, not because you have the perfect plan, but because you made a choice never to be broken. And that choice, that fire, that refusal to surrender, that is your birthright. That is your superpower. That is your legacy in motion. So light the fire, sharpen the blade, silence the noise, command your future, and walk forward like a warrior who already knows this world has not seen your final form. Not yet. But soon, there will be days when it feels like nothing is working, like your efforts vanish into thin air, like the world has gone deaf to your voice, blind to your progress, numb to your presence. Those days are sacred because in those silent, lonely places, legends are born. Not when it's easy, not when it's glamorous, but when no one sees and you keep going anyway. When you get up with no audience, when you grind with no reward, when you trust the vision, even when the results betray you. That is when greatness grips your soul, because it knows now you're ready. You've been tested, you've been bent, you've been pushed to the edge, and you didn't fall. You rose. And now you walk differently. Not with arrogance, but with alignment. Not with noise, but with certainty. Because something inside you is awake now, unshakable, unstoppable, unapologetically alive. This world, it doesn't belong to the lucky. It doesn't belong to the loud. It belongs to those who refuse to be broken, who walk through fire without flinching, who stare into the void and say, not today, not me. It belongs to the disciplined, the devoted, the deliberate. It belongs to you if you rise. So build the habits, do the work, own your time, protect your energy, speak your truth, take the damn risk, learn fast, fall hard, get up harder, be relentless. Let your purpose burn hotter than your fear. Let your future speak louder than your failures. Let your discipline outlast every excuse you've ever made, because no one's coming to save you. But that's not bad news. That's the best news there is, because it means the pen is in your hand. It means the chains are in your mind. It means the future is yours to command. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need the stars to align. You need one moment, right now, where you draw the line, where you say, I'm done negotiating with weakness. I'm done bowing to fear. I'm done waiting for someday. This is it. This is the year. This is the moment. This is the fight. And you are the weapon. You are the storm. You are the answer to your own question. So rise with fire in your lungs. Rise with steel in your spine. Rise with purpose in your pulse. And thunder in your steps. Because the clock is ticking. And regret waits for no one. And the version of you that wins is watching to see what you do today. Make the choice. Make the stand. Make the life. You will rise if you refuse to break. And if you refuse long enough, the world will rise to meet you. Thank you.